Hello, and welcome to today's daily analysis of the NQ, and a bit of the S&P. So, it is 26th of September, and let's have a look at what we said yesterday and what we might be able to do today. Well, would you look at that? It's a nice big push up, isn't it, on the NQ? Yesterday, so we were here, back here. EU opened around here. I had some levels below, and they just seemed to like the point of control of this range. I had a few gaps down here, I had a few blocks. They didn't even come for them. They didn't want them. So I was a bit iffy about going along from here. I took a small scalp. Pretty happy with that. I knew that they could do some other stuff. So I took a very small scalp. Now, as you can see, that trade actually would have gone on to be very large. But I'm happy with getting like a 2.6 trade and then calling it, right? I saw potential that they could bring this back down. When I saw them doing this, I just kind of let it happen. I just did other things. I was really happy with getting a nice, confident trade, closing it maybe a bit early. Maybe I could work on that. I would have closed it. If I left it, I probably would have closed it at Brinks. It could have been a nice trade, but I'm happy with this. I got given something, I took it. So they brought that up, they cleared the highs, and then I watched after US. I saw an opportunity here, and I took a short for another 2.9 or so down in. Now with the firm that I use, I can't keep trades open overnight anyway, so my long would have been closed anyway. Now I would have closed it off very early, probably down here. But yeah, I got 2 trades yesterday. I'm happy with them. You don't have to hit those big ones to be happy. Chasing this maybe would have ended up some more negative results, right? So take what I got and I'll be happy with it. What do we have today? Well, NQ had absorption around this point of control, and it just pushed up, right? Pushed up. So I was saying that we have just a vacuum of liquidity here. Seemed like they were inducing shorts in comparison to the FXCM chart, which seemed like it might have been doing something like that, taking the high, having little pullbacks, but they just said to hell with it and pushed it up. So we've taken these equal highs and we've taken liquidity here. So I'm going to mark that. And I'm going to mark it on the bigger chart as well. So we've taken liquidity. Now, we have an RTH gap above us. I'm not going to be trading until this gap. Well, I will be trading, but I won't be really taking many shorts, I don't think, until this gap is at least mitigated. Yeah, we'll see. We'll probably end up getting, depending on what UK does, we might get another gap here, which will be interesting if we do, because we'll have 2 RTH gaps very close to each other being created. What have we done? Well, Asia just pushed straight up. Let's have a look at the liquidity that Asia did. Actually, we should probably mark structure now. So this break here, because we're coming into this area, I'm going to hold off on calling this a break of structure until now. Because of what we've made, we can still have retracements into here. Just because we broke out of this doesn't mean we can't pull back heavily on Friday, tomorrow or next week or whatever. So I'm going to hold off on calling this any kind of break of structure. I like this being my 4-hour break and using this, especially because the gap's down here, using this as my base for the break. Why? Well, we did take liquidity here and then pushed up. You could call this a break. But for me, it's a bit vague because we're leaving a lot of too much leeway for me. In order, this can be maintained with deep retracements, right? I like this being my break. It keeps me a bit more centered into the reality of the structure that we're in. Yeah. So, liquidity was taken. So what do we do? Well, this was US. They took a small bit of liquidity, and actually on the ES we had an SMT, which is what I think it really made this push very, very intense. So here you can see on the S&P we had a bullish SMT, which is the ES making a new low. When relatively, let's get our comparison chart out. So this is the NASDAQ and this is the S&P. You can see around the same time, NASDAQ was here, right? Let's see if I can make this a bit more easy to see. So NASDAQ was here, right? And then S&P had this low. And then S&P took that low. NASDAQ made a much higher low, right? This was the catalyst really for this huge push up. Was that SMT divergence between the assets. So we got that. Sydney opened here. Let's mark our flags. Sydney's low. Tokyo opened here. Yeah. Tokyo's low. And Hong Kong. Ooh, actually that's Hong Kong's low. Kind of sharing the same. It opens at 9. Yeah. I'll just call this the low. Now we're up here. So very large expansive move. Chance they don't come for this today. This is the kind of move where they're just like, get it out of that range. Let's do something else up here. And as I said, I'm not extremely interested in long-term shorts until we come up into the RTH gap. We do have, so we had a change of character here. This was the initial change of character. We have some blocks around here. Let's take out our VAs. Do I have anything here? No. Where was this break? Take it from the whole range. Came up and then we broke down here. Let's just take this whole thing. Value area high is around these levels up here, this consolidation. Value area low of this, I believe, is at the start or at the end of the RTH gap. And we have a 30-minute block up here. As I said, I'm not the hugest fan of these descending highs. There's a lot of liquidity here, but after looking at it again, I don't necessarily hate the idea of still taking a short from up here. Maybe just having it a bit less, holding it for not as long. But the reason is, internally, we did have a few little washes, which I'm kind of a fan of. Mainly this one, right? So we had this high being taken, which was internal liquidity taken, right? And then we had this break of structure, right? Go up in the 30-minute. Just so you understand, right? And then we took that low, and then we took this little internal high again, and then we had the real breakdown, right? We have the real breakdown here. Why is this like that? That's fine. So I like the look of this for taking brief shorts in here, kind of in this area. We have a few blocks there, and point of control is up here. We could take liquidity into this and then have a pullback. I would be cautious again, just because of the liquidity that they've built here. So it's kind of glaring, but you'll need a push to get through all this, I think, and I wouldn't mind taking some shorts based on the resistance we have here. But we'll see once we get there. Below us we have a structural point here, and we have a couple of blocks. More specifically, we have this 30-minute block, which is right on the structural point. Now, sometimes I'm a bit cautious of taking trades that are directly on structural points. I don't know, they're sometimes a bit, what's the word, like, they're too predictable, right? Sometimes they work, but you know, everyone and their mother is going to be trying to short this when it comes right up until this wick, and that can be good enough of a reason for them to just not stop there. Right, it's more of a psychology thing. We have another block above it. You can see it's on the 24-minute, but the reason I like it on the 24-minute is because it's a green-red vector block. It's right around a breaker here, which was the start of the US session at this time. So we have a bearish breaker here, and this block, liquidity was instantly taken before it was fully engulfed. Now that's just because this time frame shows it. It's how I like to mark my blocks, but this to me is clear. So I'm going to label this one. Depending on what we do, I would be looking for really the liquidity of this block to be taken into this block. Would be my approach to this, right? So I'm going to mark this as liquidity there, and I'm going to see how we react there. That's a small bit of confluence. If we take the range tool from here, anything lining up there? Not really. Not really. Everything is above, right? We have this curve here, which is very glaring. So, you know, it is going to be a bit dangerous taking shorts from up here, but hey, that never stopped me before. I'll see how we approach coming into this area. Right. This whole thing is a breaker, so we could come into here and get a reaction. All right, so today, anyway, what are we doing? What's happening? Well, UK opens in 10 minutes. Depending on what we do, again, I'll see. This push up is very glaring for me. Um, the thing is, with this kind of expansion, I'm not rushing to take longs. I had a good week of trading. I'm not I'm not in a crazy rush to be like, oh my god, I need to catch this push up. Like, because look at this. This is crazy, right? Um, we have these blocks around here. I'm not crazy sold on taking a short from this area, even though there might be something here. Um, I'm not crazy. I'm not jumping on it. You know, this is a big volume gap here. Huge volume gap. Now there could be a lot of volatility as a result. Um, but guys, ES is in price discovery. You gotta be really careful. We don't have historical data now, right? So taking kind of counter trend moves is I'll just I'll wait for the first move to happen and then play the internal structure that's created as a result of that move. Um, you know, the NQ builds more of a case for shorts coming soon, but the ES takes precedent. The ES will move the NQ. The NQ can have signs, but if the ES decides to just break upwards with no stopping, these highs and this liquidity curve won't last, right? If the ES decides that it's just moving, so I'm aware of that. Yeah, I'm really sensitive to the idea of shorts with ES doing this. Very, very sensitive. Okay, let's build some long cases. Coming back into here at some stage, I'm going to reassess these levels. It seems like they've used everything they want. Maybe if they come back down here, we might have more problems on our hands than just dealing with these internal levels, but we'll see. Okay, definitely cases to be made for long continuations here, whether it's in US or not. Okay, what levels do we have around here in this big volume gap that we've created? Well, let's use some historical data to see if we can find any nice areas to get some bounces to perhaps ride those short squeezes. Going to tighten this. Because we're bullish, we could use some higher levels of support and resistance, or sorry, support to get some trades maybe. Coming into an area here. This volume gap here, we could retrace into, right? I'm going to take this past, I'm going to say it's a past range value area low. Yeah, it is, which is around the highs. That there. Did like take liquidity. We are coming into the greater bearish pull, so I'm going to jump on longs very, very quickly. But we're in the middle, kind of in the middle of a big volume gap, so we're just moving straight up, right? Let's mark out some liquidity on the 1 minute. What was taken during Asia. So first let's mark out liquidity taken at the opens. So add internal liquidity taken here, push down into that, and then push up. But again, this to me looks like liquidity sitting under here, you know. Just mark this for the future. Not very sold. Don't mind this. Don't mind this little wash here because we filled a I'm gonna make I have this justified, and you know what? I don't need to. Leave it as turn liquidity thing on the bottom. Yeah, that's better. That was okay. We push up. We have some vector recovery down here. I'm gonna have a look at that on the NQ. Flat. That. Ending. This one's all right. Flat. Jesus. All right. That's not bad. Okay. Yeah, we have just a lot of flat lows. Honestly, where did I see? There was another one I saw coming up here. I like this. What was that around? Nothing. It was around 2 o'clock. Okay, before the Tokyo close. Let's see. This is really begging. This here is just crazy begging to be taken. But I don't mind this this change in this break of structure. It's at that area that I was actually marking out earlier. It's internal bullish break structure, right? Okay. Okay. It's Japan low. Yeah. This is it reeks of structure built on paper, you know. House of Cards ready to come down on Friday, something like that. But look guys, I'm not one to hop on these kind of moves, you know. No, it's not me. Yeah. Does it mean I'm going to be targeting this like today? No, not necessarily. But this doesn't instill confidence for taking longs up here. We have 3 minutes now until UK opens. What could they do? Could they do? If we want to take the Tokyo close as a liquidity grab into here, depending on what UK does, could look for some shorts into this area, right? But it would be very quick internal plays, right? Price discovery is scary, you know. God knows where this will stop. Could have a massive push up, big extension of structure. ES on the 1 hour is giving signs of, I won't say exhaustion, but it's definitely pushing up with signs of maybe slight exhaustion, but we just don't know, guys. We just don't know where this is going to stop. Getting money flow divergences here. I'm not crazy sold on taking longs in this structure. Might be crazy to think, but I mean, just down at the Tokyo low, point of control there, top of that past range value area high. Maybe it's a US move coming down into that area. You know, I saw this behavior. I don't trade trend lines. I guess it really worked out for people who do this time, but stay away from that kind of thing. I don't know. It's kind of fishy, right? It's just a bit fishy, honestly. Yeah, it's just they're just going for it, you know. UK is opening now. I don't know, I'm not in a huge rush to try and take a lot of trades. I didn't immediately see anything I liked, except maybe taking a could take a long from around here, right? Maybe. Be a retest of structure. Let's look at our VWAPs. That's Bitcoin. So we had resistance at that anchored VWAP. Retraced, just pushed right through it. Have our upper band way too high up here for me to be confidently looking for trades. Taking this liquidity into that past range value area high is the best case that I can see for a bounce. Well, not the best case, but it's where I would be looking for a bounce. I guess we have this fair value gap here as well. Around that band. What's that? 20,300. Look at that area. I normally have these on multiple screens, so it's easier, but 2350. There's a volume gap there. 2350. Yeah. Let's have a look deeper into this structure here. Is there anything I'm missing? Any little swipes? This was technically liquidity taking. See, again, it's just very close to this area of interest down here, right? All right, maybe they come into this. It's already mitigated though. I guess they could fill this fair value gap and get some kind of bounce. I wouldn't bet too much on it, but something there. We do also have this block here, because this FEG seems kind of mitigated. Like, it seems like they've done a bit of work on it. So we have that gap, and then I'm just gonna mark out this 24-minute block. I'm not gonna give it any special name. I just see it there. So perhaps we could take some of this liquidity here into this block, or maybe into the gap, and look for some kind of bounce from there. I don't know. It's a bit paper thin, you know? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to play the internal range that develops here. Just feel it out today, being aware that they could do whatever they want, bring it down, trace it heavily. But we didn't have any kind of midweek reversal or anything like that. Makes me feel like they might leave it until Friday to give the big move, but they could set up Friday for a short or something. I wouldn't bet the farm on a lot of these here, but I have some areas that I'm interested in maybe speculating, right? Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for me today. Just be careful with these big, expansive moves up. Don't get caught in the FOMO, guys. You know, they had a nice range here. I took some trades from in there. I'm happy out. I'm not under any pressure to really be taking anything that doesn't look like an A+ setup to me today. So yeah, best of luck, guys, and we'll chat to you tomorrow.